Hi everyone, this is Dr Mamta Jawa, your microbiology faculty at DocTutorials, and I'm extremely happy and honored to introduce to you Dr Rishabh Rawat, rank 13 holder in the latest NEETPG exam 2022. Heartiest congratulations, Rishabh, and thank you so much for sparing your time for this interview.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the introduction. Ma'am, it's my honor to be at this stage and talk with you on this platform.
Thank you so much. And first and foremost, the obvious question: how does it feel?
Ma'am, actually, when the results came out, I was traveling in a local train in Mumbai. So it was like totally unexpected. The result date, which was published on the NB website, was around, I think, 20th June. And it came around very much early from the expected date. So it was like a stunner for me that the result is out. And then when I saw my own result, I was like totally, I had no words. I was no reaction for the first few minutes, and then gradually it took time to sink in. I have got such a good rank. It was actually a little bit unexpected, and but it was at the same time very much satisfying and very much ecstatic to know that all the efforts that I have taken throughout this journey has been rewarded well.
So 13 number has turned out to be your lucky number, should I say?
Yes, ma'am, you can say that in a way.
Well done, great result. And Rishabh, I would want to ask you, when exactly did you start your targeted preparation for NEETPG? In which year of MBBS? And before that, please let the viewers know which college you are from.
Okay. Ma'am, I am from St. GS Medical College and KEM Hospital, Mumbai. And I had started like target preparation in the third year, that is third minor, when I had started to make the notes of all the subjects. That time I had not started solving proper MCQs in the form of any Q bank or any test, but I used to only make sure that my notes were completely like, there was no lacuna left in the notes. There were no topics left which I have skipped the video or I have skipped any topic at all. And at the later time, because I always believe that, having the material first is the very first step to starting the preparation, because having like knowing what you have to read and what you have to revise, that's the very basic step. Because maximum, a lot of people around me had like, they had skipped their notes and left few pages because they were absent in the class for the few time for some time, or they were not attentive at that time. And that was, I think, a big difference that I had made in my preparation, that I had make sure that whatever lacuna was left, whatever parts were incomplete, I used to make it a habit to complete it within the next few days, and so that I have at least the material ready. Then the third and after the final year, I had towards the end of the final year, I started solving a few MCQs from QBank. And in the internship period, I had the notes ready, and so I was revising the notes. I had done one reading and around two revisions of those notes. The first reading was of around 6 to 7 months, in which I tried to read the notes and solve the Q bank of the same topics on the same day or on the next day at the most. And then I should review those mistakes. That used to be that used to be it for each subject. And then around 2 to 3 months took me to complete my first revision, where I used to target the more weaker topics and the topics which I used to make recurrently, where I used to make mistakes. And the second revision was even more focused focused revision was only on the weak subjects, not weak parts, not even the weak subjects, only weak parts of each subject. Because it is frankly very difficult to complete 19 subjects in one month, 1.5 months, that much period.
So that's fantastic. That's a very important advice for all the students, that there should not be any lacuna in your notes. Your notes have to be complete. And I guess the best part I personally feel about good notes is you have to add anything extra you find in any extra video you see in the YouTube, or you give any subject-wise test or grand test. Add those extra points to your your original notes, the basic notes. And there should be 19 such master notes copies, and then you have to revise them like as many times as possible. Yes. I think that's what you did. You completed your notes. And QBank, how many times, how would you manage your time between studying theory and solving questions?
So like ma'am, in the first reading, I used to give, let's say 7 or 10 days to each subject. Around, let's say microbiology, I used to give, let's say I had planned to do it in 10 days. So in the first 6 to 7 days, I used to like try to read up all the notes which I have made and cover up any parts which were missing in those notes. Because at least by the end of first reading, all the lacunae should be filled. I used to try to do that actually during my third and finally only. But even if any small parts were left, even if it's very as small as some random any some very smallest virus or any smallest parasite, I used to try to add up all those things and finish off the notes. And after giving though that much time, around 1 to 2 days, I used to give for the Q bank. Actually, the Q bank I used to try to do it on the same day, but that was practically a little difficult to manage with my internship, because I used to have different postings and different departments, and managing time with internship was really difficult. So it was impossible, because sometimes some days it used to be impossible to study and solve the same topic. But the ideal scenario that I was aiming for every day would be that I should read that topic and solve the Q bank of that topic on the same day. Am I audible?
Yeah, now it's clear. Now, yes, you're audible. Please continue.
Yes, ma'am. So it was difficult to manage time with internship, and it was difficult to do the studying of the same topic and the solving of the same topic on the same day. So, but that was the ideal scenario which I used to aim for, but that was never, most of the time, not possible. So it used to be like 5 to 6 days I was reading notes, and then 1 to 2 days I was solving Q banks and bookmarking the mistakes which I have made to review at a later date. And after that, I used to give one test which was related to that subject, and then I used to like assess my performance and review my mistakes again, and watch the few topics ka videos if I felt it was very totally I have not understood a topic or something. Then I used to watch a video of that. Otherwise, then I used to like 7 to 10 days for each subject, and then I used to change my subject that way.
Okay. So talking about changing subjects, my next question would be, how did you manage the integrated study? As in, did you try to finish off antimicrobials with microbiology, or you did it subject wise? Because integrated is so much in vogue these days. Everybody's after integrated study.
Yes, ma'am. So the thing was that the integrated approach is a really good approach. So if you think about it, like when you are reading the disease and reading the pathogenesis, then it's better to read the treatment, the drugs of it, and I mean and the real understanding in the mind, it should be that way. But actually, while preparing, I found it difficult to take 4 or 5 subjects ka notes together, and the time management part would become difficult, because if I had 4 subjects, 5 subjects ka notes in my hands, I would not get the knack of how much time to give to that part. Let's say for antimicrobials and microbiology together. So I used to while reading microbiology, I used to if I should try to recall how much ever antimicrobials I remember. If not, I used to flip a few pages of pharmacology and just search or whichever antimicrobial I couldn't remember at that point. But as such, integrating the whole part, I used to not give dedicated time to pharmacology while reading microbiology. In the mind, it used to be always integrated approach, but while reading, the problem was with me was that I couldn't manage my time, and also because I was doing an internship, it was difficult to find so much time to integrate 2-3 subjects together, because and that would like create the timelines would be like a little bit hazy if I do multiple subjects together, because if I do microbiology, I know I have to finish it in 7 days. But if I do microbiology with a little bit of pathology of infective organisms, a little bit of pharmacology, a little bit of medicine, a little bit of surgery, like that way, I tried it a few times, but I used to find the time management a little difficult for that. But whenever I used to read a topic and I could not recall something about if I recall something is related, I have read before in another subject in the past, and I couldn't recall it at that point, I just flipped the notes, and just in a few minutes I used to just look at whatever was missing in my memory. That way, I used to integrate it in my mind while reading, but I should not give dedicated time to multiple subjects at one time that way.
Understood. Completely agree with you also, because you might not be able to finish off, all the drugs with their pharmacokinetics, dynamics, and drug interactions, etc., while you are studying micro. But at least if you're able to recall the drug, that also serves the purpose to a certain extent. And then when you start studying pharma separately, then you can in detail finish antimicrobials. Okay. And talking about the tests, grand tests and subject-wise tests, how did you manage revision of the tests? It's not really possible to, you know, reattempt a test, you know, altogether. So did you revise everything, all the questions in a particular test, or just your mistakes?
So, ma'am, initially while giving the test only, I used to bookmark some questions which I felt I was underconfident, or some questions which I felt I was guessing. So while giving the test, if I bookmark, so even if I get it correct later, I used to revise it because I knew I had guessed it, and maybe us samay wo tukka lag gaya, but you know, final exam it might not be the same. I might not be that lucky on a later date. So whatever, while giving the test, I was underconfident. I used to bookmark that. And so I used to revise those questions. Along with that, if I was making any mistake, even if I've not bookmarked it, I used to review that. So that was my whole review thing. The question which were wrong, skipped, and the question which I had guessed and bookmarked them while giving the test. That much I used to review.
Okay, that's fantastic. So basically, we should make a list of the topics which we got wrong in the tests, or the topics which we personally find volatile, but they might be easy for our friends, isn't it? So it's very important to learn from your mistakes, as you did from from the tests you gave. That's a fantastic tip. So don't leave anything for the last moment. Learn from that test, you know, then and there. Okay. So Rishabh, what resources from DocTutorials helped you in your preparation?
During my MBBS years, I had watched a few videos from DocTutorials, and especially I had liked the videos of especially yours and Dr. Jayaprakash sir's videos. Even on YouTube, I used to follow your channel a lot, and I used to learn a lot from the clinical aspects of microbiology, which was, these things were not so much taught even during my prof years, even during the lectures which were in classes, because like suppose for microbiology, the prof lectures and even the notes which I had made were focusing mainly on the preclinical aspects. But your lectures I found very helpful, because they integrated the clinical aspects so well that like for example, Lyme's disease, whenever I used to read any textbook, I used to just find that there is just given the organism, at the vector, and at the most the drug of choice. That was all that was given, and maybe one characteristic clinical feature, that too the name was mentioned, that's it. No description of the incubation period and the clinical features, the evolution of the disease, the diagnosis, the investigations. So all these things were very well covered in your videos, ma'am. So I used to like that part a lot in your videos.
Thanks a lot. Nothing is a greater reward for a teacher than such words of praise, and I'm happy that my lectures helped you. And what about any other material you saw on DocTutorials app, like QRP sessions or anything else?
Okay, ma'am. Actually, during the MBBS years only, I had seen a few videos, and after that, actually, learning through videos was a little bit time consuming. So I had stopped the watching of videos and solving a lot on the app. So I used to just review my own notes multiple times, and I had to limit my resources to because solving. I had an internship at the same going on during my NEETPG preparation, so it was difficult to look at videos and at the same time do an internship and revise and solve at the same time. So
okay, and one very common question which the students ask is, how many times should we revise? I think it is very variable from student to student, isn't it?
yes,
I think when you feel confident that okay, I'm perfect in this topic, this I might be able to recall, ye mujhe yaad aa jayega, then I think you are good to go with that topic. It's a very personal thing, isn't it? So you have to ask yourself, you have to keep revising and assess yourself what topics you personally find volatile, and then make a list of those topics or focus on those topics, because nobody can read everything one day before the exam. Not possible. So, and as you rightly said, multiple revisions are going to take you far. So perfect notes making, no lacunae in the notes, proper revision, giving tests on time, and learning from your mistakes in the tests. I think if I want to summarize what we heard from you so far, this is how I should summarize, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, perfect, ma'am.
Okay. And one very important question I would want to ask is, how did you stay motivated all this while? You must have had your own, insecurities or doubt or self-doubt, fear. What if I don't crack? I mean, what if I don't, because as you said, internship was pretty hectic.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did you stay motivated?
Okay, so ma'am, so there were actually multiple sources of my motivation. So first, that's why I was always first thing I was my reaction of my result also was that I was very grateful to my family and my close friends who were always in support. Like whenever I used to fall short of time or I used to fall short of my targets, I used to feel very like low and kind of ab kaise hoga aage, and the time is running out, and internship was also taking a lot of time considering the fact that the previous NEETPG was delayed a lot. So the new batch of residents were also not joined, and the work on interns had increased significantly. So it was a little bit difficult in that sometimes. So it was the support of my friends, my family, and of course Almighty was always very, very crucial. The second thing is, ma'am, the mentality of the person matters a lot. Like even if you have very little time in a day, making use of even 2 hours if you have at night. Let's say if I have a 12 hours of emergency duty and I'm only free for 2 hours at night, even taking those small baby steps at every consistently will make you reach very far off. If you do it consistently throughout the year, 365 days, even if it's just 1 or 2 hours, it at least maintains your rhythm of studying every day and maintains that that you don't lose knack of solving MCQs. Because if you like, let's say if I have a heavy week of postings and you don't read at all, and 1 week back, after 1 week you come back to your preparation, it's like totally new. You forget the art of solving MCQs. You forget how the speed of reading, and that itself will take one more day from you, rather than if you would have just read 1 or 2 hours and maintained that rhythm, that basal level of activity of your mind, that this is the art of solving, this is the way to read. That consistency, ma'am, will actually help the candidate get the best results, even if it's like on that day you are not covering much of portion, but you are maintaining that rhythm. That is only very helpful. And also, ma'am, the insecurities, the part of insecurities was that the root cause of insecurity is when we think about the result, that ab kya aage kya hoga. That is I think the biggest distortion of the human mind that is always present wherever whichever challenge you face in life. So detaching yourself from the result will totally remove all insecurities, ma'am, because the root cause of the insecurity is the thought of the result. But like I used to always say to myself that if I am giving my 100% in even if I don't get any rank or any branch, whatever I get, I will know I have no regrets. Like even if it turns out whatever rank I get, I will say to myself that I have given my 100% now. If I had less time or I had any other issues going on, so that was like a part of the circumstances of that on that day or on that moment or on that time. So it will have no regrets in mind. That is more important, ma'am. Like you have to give your best. I think that is most important. And if you think that way, you will never have any insecurity in mind, ma'am.
That's a great advice, and even I am an ardent follower of Shri Krishna, and these are great tips for life from Bhagavad Gita also. So yeah, so if I want to summarize your internship period, which you amalgamated with your preparation, I think the best part about your internship and your preparation, which I have understood, is you never wasted even 1 hour of the free time you got. So you basically made the most of it, whatever you have. And that's a very great advice, because usually interns, because of the workload and because of the pressure of NEETPG exam, and so much of stress and anxiety going on, they sometimes feel that we can't do it. It is impossible. But here I am talking to a NEETPG, topper who has cracked NEETPG exam in the first attempt, and that too with a very heavy internship. So guys, nothing is impossible. Just be sincere and do your best in whatever little amount of time of studying you are getting during your internship, just like Rishabh did. And again, as rightly said by him, don't stay attached to don't worry about the result. Anxiety, sympathetic activity decreases cortical activity, isn't it? So
Yes.
just focus on your studies, do your best, and God will take care of the rest.
Yes, ma'am. Totally, ma'am.
So, anything else you would want to tell the viewers? Any tips from your side? Anything else apart from what we discussed?
So, ma'am, most of the things we already discussed. Just a few things to add on. Like, ma'am, it is very important. Like for any candidate who is trying to prepare for any competitive exam, that this burnout thing is a very common thing which you will come across. That every 4 or 5 days, or every 7 days, I used to have that feeling that I am already done. I'm already too exhausted. So it's always better to take a break before you break down. So planning a break like every 4 or 5 days, like for a half a day, or any Sunday evening, going out with your family to chill, or going out with your friends to party and all. Even if it's like for a half a day or something, you should take a break. I feel at least once in a week,
I agree.
uh, because that will kind of maintain the sanity and maintain the state of mind, which will help you in the coming 6.5 days.
Absolutely.
Because taking adequate relaxation will improve your state of mind, which will help you absorb and grasp better. And that, because that quality reading, and that I used to always believe within more of quality than quantity. So rather than reading 10 hours or 12 hours in a day, I used to feel like 6 or 6.5 hours we padha on a holiday, on a or and
6-7 hours भी पढ़ा, लेकिन कम से कम register तो हुआ ना. That's more important.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that is more important rather than pulling on till late night, and if you have an early morning internship the next day. So that I used to at least follow this, that whatever you are reading, it should be like the quality time where you are totally focused. It should like, so I used to have this the timings of the day also kind of set, because in the afternoon after lunch, that period was very like I used to be very sleepy at that time after lunch. I don't know, it's a habit which I have had since my before my school times, that after lunch that those 1 or 2 hours that was the worst quality time of my day. So I used to try to channel that into either by taking a nap in the afternoon, or giving myself a break for half an hour to 1 hour every afternoon. It was fixed, but like whenever I used to call my friends or anything, I should always try to fix that time, afternoon mein hi karenge.
So
Because
this is a smart utilization of time, right?
yes, ma'am. Because the thing with interns is that you have very less time. You don't get long weeks of break to study. You will get maybe once a week or twice a week, depending on your postings. And and managing the internship is also one important thing. Like you should try to not take leaves as much as possible in the start of the preparation, and try to save those extra leaves at the end, because the internship eligibility is also a big thing, because in the March exam, the eligibility internship criteria was till 31st May.
Okay.
So we had very few days left to sit and study and take leave before the exam. And but after postponement of the exam, then they took the internship eligibility till July, so we could take more amount of leaves and do the remaining internship after July. So that is also one more crucial thing. And also then the most important thing in the preparation is to have a good mental health. Wherever you feel that you are like you need someone to talk to, you need to relax, you need to take a break. You should not think about anything. You should not think that I'm wasting this time. You should not take guilt about the breaks which you need, because those breaks will eventually help you. Even if at that one few minutes or few hours you are giving yourself your time, it is not something to be feel guilty of. Because I have seen, like myself also, it happens, and quite a few of my friends also have seen that taking a break gives them more guilt, and that creates more burnouts, and that creates more break, then that becomes a vicious cycle. So to break this, your mentality should be clear that you are taking this break to improve your further performance, or further time of study will become more of quality time by taking this short break of few minutes or few hours.
Absolutely. It is so much needed. It's a necessity.
And and spending time with your family, having a balance between your career, your family, and yourself, and that balance is also very important. It's this exam and all is just a part of your life. It's not the end of your life.
Not the end of the world. Yeah, fantastic. And that's what I was, that would lead me to my next question. For students who have not done so well in this exam, any message for them from your end? many must be feeling devastated, as I am also getting so many messages. As I also always tell my students, it's not the end of the world. It was just one exam, one day, those 3 hours, which don't actually decide your worth or your, how your prospects of becoming successful or not. Any advice for these students?
Yes, ma'am. So the theme is the same, ma'am. That it's not the end of the world. It's just an exam, and it's just one rank and one number, which will not define anything in your life. It is like just a part of your life. You have already given so many exams, so many times you have been through this. So it's just part of it. Was one of them. If it's if you are not getting any choice of a college or choice of a branch, it's okay. It's not a very big thing. If you if you feel like you want to take a break and right now and start again for the next attempt, you should do that, I feel. And you should never lose your self confidence, that इस बार नहीं हुआ तो ऐसा नहीं कि कभी नहीं होगा. It's not like that. It's never like that. You should always be like, yes, ma'am. You should always be that. You should have the attitude of never giving up, because चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, it is always worth another try. It's never too late to start, and never too late to start afresh.
Definitely. They say there are no last chances, there are only second chances. So don't lose.
Yes,
this message is from Rishabh to students who have not done so well. Don't lose hope, guys. It was just one exam. Don't assess or judge yourself based on the not so good results of this NEETPG. Get up and get back. I mean, get up and start preparing for the upcoming NICT, November NICT, and learn from your mistakes. Revise more frequently. And as Rishabh rightly said, perseverance is the key. Just don't give up. Giving up should not be an option.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever time you have, giving your 100% will prevent any regrets in future. Even if you if you think you have less time, or you have some issues going on in your personal life or in your families or any whatever be the thing, you should always say to yourself that you should give your 100%, and that will prevent regrets in future. Whatever you are giving your 100%, and then if you have to leave it up to God. Now whatever will happen, it's not in your hands. That is the whole thing comes back to the same thing, that you should detach yourself from the results and just work. The result is not important. It's your work. It's your own sense of satisfaction that you have given your 100%. That is more important. That will make you feel self confident and self fulfillment, and give you a sense of fulfillment with yourself.
Very well said. Very well said. So Rishabh, I think on that note, I would end this interview. And once again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I also thank you on behalf of the entire team at DocTutorials for sparing time for this interview and sharing with the viewers all the tips which helped you crack this exam. And equally importantly, the motivation part which you spoke about, and also the mental health aspect, which need not be ignored at all. Mental health is, I think, it's the most important thing, right? Once you are at peace with yourself, you are in a happy state of mind, then only you can do something else, right? Then only you can do justice to your studies, or for that matter, anything in life.
Yes, ma'am. Totally, ma'am.
So once again, thanks a lot, Rishabh, and I wish you all the very best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
I mean, may you prosper in all the aspects of life, and may you do well always, always.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.